We're back. We're the three dudes of horror. I'm Damien.
I'm Toots.
Worm Boy.
And we're going to do our quick review, like our quick take on the new horror movie, The Belko Experiment. Just to give you our quick opinion on what we thought of the movie.
Now, just to give you a heads up, we actually did a review of this a couple weeks back when the movie first came out because we wanted to give our initial impressions of it. But due to technical difficulties, I'm not going to get into it, but we had a few technical difficulties, so we're going to have to start over again. So, Damien, if you want to go first and kind of give your first impression.
Well, we want to make this kind of like a recurring thing on our channel. We're going to try to, like new horror movies, like fresh horror movies, like that just came out. As soon as we see them, we want to just get on here real quick and just give our immediate response, what we thought of them. We'll try to make it, if it's a brand new movie, we'll try to make it spoiler free. But with the Belko Experiment, I thought the concept was really interesting. The whole concept that made you think, how you would respond if you were put in that situation. Like, would you have the moral fiber to do the right thing, or, would you pick up a weapon, per se, and would you actually murder people to get out of that,
situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. And the Belko Experiment, pretty much what it's about is there's an office building that at some point this I'm gonna use quotations research group essentially Shanghai's about 80 people in the building, and they're essentially tasked to kill a certain number of people
within a certain time frame.
Yeah, within a certain time frame. And if they don't, then there's certain penalties. We're not going to get into what those penalties are. Like I said, we're going to try to keep it spoiler free. But yeah, it's just a matter of, what would you do to survive in that situation? So yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of look at yourself and kind of ask, like, would I really have the balls to do, what it takes to actually try to get out of this quote experiment alive?
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was I mean the killing. I enjoyed that the most, of course. But one of the things that caught my attention was the female character, which was isolated throughout the film. I think she was new. She was like a new employee or something.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're not going to try to get too into detail because we don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it. But...
Well, I mean, I thought there was a lot of... Like, the concept was good.
Mm-hmm.
The setup was fairly... it was fairly done fairly well.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, the actual kills and it... I thought... not to give away too many spoilers, like we said, but I thought there was a lot of, like, missed opportunities. Like, it wasn't, like, as interesting as it could have been as far as, like, the methods of the kills and, not to get too into... But, I mean, I guess it was interesting how, of course, there were different factions. They started breaking up into different factions, not to give too much away, of like people that wanted to go a certain route and other people that wanted to go another route, and that conflict started building, and then there's the pressure of, like I said, they only have a certain time frame.
Yeah, and I did like the excuse me, I did like the the blood and the gore, whatever gore they managed to have in it. And I'm not, the way I like horror films is that I prefer to have good character development and a good story. And to me, the blood and the gore and all that should be, in my opinion, just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, right.
The character development wasn't that good, I think.
Yeah, the
could have been way better.
Yeah, you could understand certain relationships here and there.
Yeah, but it needed more substance, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
But once the terror and the horror start happening, if like what you're saying, if you're not invested in the characters, it doesn't have as much impact.
No, it doesn't.
Like
yeah, I was probably invested in probably a couple of the characters.
yeah, they
Uh,
take time to flesh out a few of the main characters, but and then the whole element like there's a lot of red herrings. Like,
there's really only like that one.
Yeah.
That's,
but then there's like the whole. I don't want to give away spoilers, like, but there's certain theories that they're starting to develop.
mm-hmm.
Like some of the people are starting to develop certain theories about how they're controlling them,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't lead to anything. Like it seems like it's leading somewhere, and then it's just like it's just completely the writers just like it seems like they just abandoned it. Like
Yeah,
and like I said, it seems like a missed opportunity.
And James Gunn is the one that wrote the movie. I think he directed it too. No, I don't think so.
No.
I think he just wrote it.
Guardians of the Galaxy writer.
Yeah, the remake of Dawn of the Dead. So to me, the way the characters were written, it felt kind of like Dawn of the Dead almost.
Choppy?
Not necessarily choppy, because in Dawn of the Dead, like, you got invested with the characters to a certain extent, but they gave them time to do that. And in this one,
It's more abrupt. It's kind of rushed.
it's a little more abrupt. You kind of got to know the characters. They're not exactly one dimensional. At least the core characters weren't necessarily one dimensional. I would say they probably got, you kind of got to see the relationships and who were friends and who was the douchebag and who was
Well, I thought that you really, really started to see who the characters actually were once the experiment starts.
Yeah, that's when everybody starts to show like their true colors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess is the point of
That's the point of it, where it's like, okay, who's gonna really show who they really are, and are they justified in terms of what they're doing?
Yeah, I guess overall I would give it like a B- in my.
Yeah, I'm in that range also, like C+, B-. Like, it's a perfectly disposable horror movie with a really good concept. Like, I think there were a lot of missed opportunities. They could have done a lot more interesting things with the concept that they didn't do. But I mean, it's the concept alone, and some of the acting was good.
No, I like the acting. I didn't mind the actors and like I said, some of the characters. Like, for instance, I like the comedy relief. Like there were a couple of characters that were like comic relief characters, and they didn't seem very grating or annoying or anything like that. They actually, they weren't super hilarious, but at the same time, they kind of held their own. And they did, to a certain extent, kind of serve a purpose in the movie, other than just they're just here to be funny.
So what would you give it?
I would give it probably like a B-. I would say if you plan on watching it at the theater, I would say just wait until like the matinee showing, maybe like when it's cheaper.
Yeah, I agree with
or maybe like the dollar theater.
Because I don't think it's worth the full amount. I mean,
it's definitely dollar movie worthy for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say like the isolation element of the story is there. You feel the isolation for the most part, and the paranoia is there. But like those themes that have been done better in previous like horror movies. They're there, but it wasn't done as well as I've seen in other movies.
But to be honest, there were a couple of characters where I was like, once they got killed, I was like, oh no, why them?
Yeah.
There were a few characters that were like that, at least for me. And then of course, the majority you're just like, well, they're expendable. Because I'm a sadistic bastard.
Yeah, you really are. You have no heart.
Yeah, I have no heart.
I don't even know where it's at.
And this movie takes place in an office building, and the geek in me has to point out that John McGinley was in Office Space and in this movie.
I was actually looking for the red stapler.
And it would have been awesome if they would have thrown in the red stapler.
That would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah,
Missed opportunity, right?
there you go. So yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on the movie. I mean it was entertaining. Like it wasn't completely terrible. I mean it just wasn't like it's not like Trolls 2 or Troll 2.
Oh no, that's the stuff of legend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would recommend watching in the theater, but not at full price.
I'll say it's definitely dollar movie worthy and Redbox worthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's our take on the Belko experiment.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try to do this from time to time on our channel and in our podcast. Like give little quick reviews of movie, like fresh horror movies that just came out that we just saw. Try to give our immediate reaction and just we're open to your comments. Tell us what you think, what you thought of the movie.
Yeah, did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Like I said, if you guys love the movie, great, more power to you. Like I said, it was like it was all right. It was pretty good. In my opinion, that's the most I'll give it.
It was more than serviceable.
Yeah.
It's average horror movie.
All right. So, signing off, I'm Toots.
Till next time.
Till next time, guys. Worm Boy.
I am Damien.
Peace.